Good morning, dear hearts. We are on lesson 309. Please subscribe. Today's lesson is I will not fear to look within today. Before we do this, I want to go back to a sequence of lessons from part 1 of the workbook that blend in, weave in beautifully with today's lesson. The first lesson was 93, Light and Joy and Peace Abide in Me, which is very important. We need to realize that. But the beginning of this lesson says that you think you are the home of evil and darkness and sin. You think if anyone could see the truth about you, he would be repelled, recoiling from you as if from a poisonous snake. These are the ways that we have in the past thought about who we are. But that lesson was followed up with the giant stride lesson, the first time we had this lesson, that I am as God created me, big faith. And that lesson obviously told us that we are indeed as God created us, and we are his child eternally. And we're trying to then go inside and reach that the true light in us is indeed our strength, and our strength is indeed our sinlessness, our innocence. Weave into today's lesson. And then lesson 95 was, I am oneself united with my Creator. Obviously, a follow-up to I am as God created me, and light and joy and peace abide in me. But this lesson in the second paragraph also said, you see yourself as a ridiculous parody on God's creation, weak, vicious, ugly, sinful, miserable, and beset with pain. Such is the version of yourself, a self divided into many warring parts, separate from God and tenuously, I think I mispronounced that, tenuously held together by its erratic and capricious maker, to which you pray, and indeed we are pray, P-R-A-Y, as opposed to P-R-E-Y. So today's lesson is I will not fear to look within me, because now I am realizing that I am as God created me, and that light and joy and peace abide in me. And this lesson begins with the more text portion that says, within me is eternal innocence, because it is God's will that it be there forever and forever, because whatever God creates is eternal. It is forever and forever. We do not lose our innocence, even though we see ourselves as a parody of the creation of God. That none of those ideas, because they are false, can have any effect on the truth of who we are. His son, his child, whose will is limitless as his own, can will no change in this. There's nothing we can do to change the eternalness of God's creation. God's creation is forever. It does not change. We cannot change it. We cannot change who we really are. We can put veils over ourselves. This was recently Halloween. We can put on a costume. We can put on a mask. But underneath that mask, those veils, the costume is our true self, unchanged and changeless. For to deny my Father's will is to deny my own. To look within is but to find my will as God created it and as it is. God's will and mine are one. We've had several lessons now about God's will for us. God's will for us is perfect joy, peace, and happiness. God's will for us is everything that we truly are seeking for here when I believe I'm in a separate state. I look to fear within because I think I made another will that is not true and made it real. I think I have that power. I think that I created myself. But no, the Course tells us this is the difference between us and God. We did not create ourselves. God created us. This is The one difference, we are an extension from that perfect mind and thought. We are an extension of his love. We did not create who we are. I fear to look within because I think I made another will that is not true and I made it real. Yet it has no effects. Within me is the holiness of God. Within me is the memory of him. This is, again, let me have this memory. Let me remember I am one with God. This is a course for us to remember, to lead us gently, ever so gently, into that space of remembering who we are. We are as God created us. The second part of today's lesson is the prayer, and it says, "The step I take today, my Father, is my sure release from idle dreams of sin. Your altar stands serene and undefiled. It is the holy altar to myself, and there I find my true identity." The self is capitalized, identity is capitalized. The altar is not a thing. The altar is my devotion to my Father and to myself. In this world, many of us have altars. I have an altar. And on that altar, I have placed items that I use to help me remember who I am. When I get confused or I forget, I can go to the altar, and there I have cards, and there I have stones, and there I have pictures that remind me that my true self, my real self, my identity is not in the objects, but my identity is part of the love that those objects represent for me. And then I remember, indeed, I am as God created me. I am his child eternally. And that is who I am. And that is it for today. I hope it helped. So please like, please share, please subscribe, please smile. Please pray for all of us to remember who we are. Last year when I did this lesson, I mentioned one of my Janet-isms from the book that was not out yet. It is out now, Wisdom with a Twist. That is, I go within, so I don't have to go without. Kind of think of that today. Have a beautiful day, a lovely day. Fall back. Did fall back in the United States. Clocks have changed. Time is not a real thing because it changes. And please be here tomorrow. Namaste.